guy Manny, and this is the Talking Sports with Manny YouTube channel. Today, this is the Back Row Redskins Show podcast, and it's a bittersweet. It's really more bitter than even sweet. The sweet part of this whole thing is that we got to see Washington football week 1. So a lot of people's teams lost and everything. Everybody's whining, everybody's crying. Look, it does not matter. Football is back. Let's be excited about that first. Now, obviously, if your team loses again in week 2, then you have an issue. But speaking of week 1, the Washington football team fall to the LA Chargers 20-16. It was a game that the football team should have won, but they didn't win. I think that the momentum changed immediately after Gibson had that fumble and gave Justin Herbert a short field. He climbed 20-16 and never looked back. It really didn't even matter what the football team did right after that fumble. I mean, we got the interception, right? It was 16-16. Was it 16-13? Yeah, 16-13 at that point. We get the interception. All we have to do is run the ball, pretty much run out the clock, and the game is ours. You know what I'm saying? But it didn't happen when that when that fumble happened inside the 5. All I can think of is, these defense, can you hold just, a field goal? Even at a field goal, then it's 16-16. But that didn't happen. So that really, really hurt. And it just is what it is at that moment of the game. I mean, that was a turning point. A lot of people want to blame the defense, but the offense had a lot of faults. Outside of the Terry McLaurin circus catch, which I'm going to share, what more really happened? Like, what could the team or the fans, what could you really get excited about? You know what I'm saying? So it was lots and lots of flaws in this game. And, it just was what it was. I mean, couldn't really be upset, first game. So I don't read too much into the first game. But, you look at what Taylor Heinicke did when he came. He was able to, drive the team down the field and score. So that was exciting. That was good. That nice pass to Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas made a nice catch. And that's something that I want to see more of, us scoring in the red zone. So that was a plus. Just that one play was a plus. But the offense wasn't very good. Taylor Heinicke attempted 15 passes. You know what I'm saying? We have to more so Sunday, more than anything. So that's pretty much why, the passing game was what it was. As a team, we passed the ball 21 times. We completed 14 of those, and it was 135 yards, right? 1 touchdown, okay? The quarterback rating for both guys combined was 100.3. That's not bad. So you didn't necessarily lose the game with the quarterback play, but you necessarily didn't win the game with the quarterback play. Taylor Heinicke was 70. He completed 73.3 of his pass attempts, which is good. 1.8 yards per pass attempt or per completion. That's also good. But the 139 yards, the 122 yards, that wasn't good. We definitely needed more from the passing game. We needed more from offense, period. The run game was good. Gibson ran the ball 20 times and was able to, get 90 yards. That's pretty good. If he gets about maybe 5 more carries or 2 more carries or so at 4.5 per carry, he breaks over 100 yards. So the running game was good for once with Scott Turner. Like, it was solid. The team ran the ball 27 times, and, that's 126 yards rushing. So I like that. I appreciate that. I love that. But outside of that, it wasn't really much that we can really talk about. Gibson had some nice gaping runs. He had a 27-yard run. He had a couple of other big runs here and there, but he did fumble, and that costly fumble was pretty much what cost us the game. You also look at Patterson. Patterson gave us 2 carries for 9 yards. That's good. But Taylor Heinicke was also able to improvise, 3 for 17. That's also good. But we just needed more. We just needed more out of the run game. Gibson did fumble twice. He did, we did recover the other. But overall, I can't really give a grade to the offense. The offense just didn't do enough. We didn't have enough plays. Ryan Fitzpatrick was sacked one time. Taylor Heineke was never sacked, but did he really see the field? Also, what was Scott Turner thinking? What was Scott Turner doing with Terry McLaurin only being targeted 4 times? Was that part of the game plan? Logan Thomas, 3 targets. And the thing is, Terry and Logan caught all their targets. Was it that they were covered? Was it that Terry was covered so much that they didn't even throw his way? Outside of that, that I don't want to call it lucky, but that was an amazing circus catch. Outside of that, what did the team really do? That's really my question for you guys. And also on defense, if you're looking at the box score, Cole Holcomb had 11 tackles, and that was amazing. If you're looking at the box score, Bobby McCain, 10 tackles, Bostic, 8 tackles. But if you look at the coverage was terrible. Terrible play from the secondary as a whole. Terrible play from the linebackers. I didn't even know who was guarding these guys. We saw gaping holes through the middle of the field. There were times when Bostic was out there and people throwing the ball over his head. Bostic is not able to get over to people. All in all, it was just a terrible, terrible performance from the defense. And you want to talk about, okay, the defense had 2 sacks. One of the sacks that Montez Sweat had, glad he had pressure, but one of those sacks was just, it was random. Like, we didn't even know that it was a sack. He hit what's his name? Herbert in the arm. The ball went forward and fumbled out of the end zone. To be honest, that was lucky. The Chargers probably were going to score right. And if it wasn't going to be a field goal, it definitely would have been a touchdown. So the football team, we got a lot of lucky breaks come Sunday. So let's not talk like, oh, we just played some perfect or amazing game. It's what's expected. From the offense, I knew it was going to take a while for this offense to kind of gel, kind of get to where they wanted to be. I said it was going to take a few games, meaning 2 or 3 games. That's what I said. You guys can go back and roll the tape. As far as the defense, I expected the defense to come in here and have a much better performance. But if you look at the time of possession in the first half, you would see that the defense was out there a lot. The defense played okay. They didn't necessarily play so bad. If you take away that last touchdown, I don't count that last touchdown. Okay, you take away that last touchdown, that's 13 points that the defense gave up. That's solid. 13 points that the defense gives up. That's pretty much what's going to bring you a lot of games if you're only giving up 13 points. Now, we always talk about Fitzpatrick and his turnover issues. This time, it was Antonio Gibson. He had the costly turnover that cost us the game. So when you look at the defense as a whole, 13 points they gave up. Legit, right? They had 2 sacks, and they defended a lot of passes. There was a lot of William Jackson defending passes. He had 2, Cameron Curl, and, but the Chargers did pick on Benjamin St-Juste a lot. I know we were hyped about Benjamin St-Juste. Don't be down on him just after one game. At the end of the day, this is just one game, but there's some habits that we need to correct. There's some things that we need to do. There were some penalties. Let's talk about the penalties. So the penalties, you saw James Smith Williams jump the gun. We also saw Chase Young jump the gun. We also saw Brandon Sheriff jump the gun. So there were a lot of penalties that were killing us. Now, the biggest Achilles heel to this game, it was pretty much the defense on third down. These guys were getting 2nd and 18s, 3rd and 16s, 3rd and 10s, plenty 3rd and longs. These guys converted them. And that pretty much destroyed us. You got to get off the field when it's on third down. You have to. It's imperative to get off the field on third down. If you don't do that, it's impossible to win games. I don't care if you're holding down teams to 13 points. I don't care if you have 8 sacks, 9 sacks. If you can't get off the field at 3rd and long, then you're useless as a defense. What's the point of this magnificent front 4, magnificent pass rush, magnificent front 7? The Chargers were able to negate the pass rush with quick passes. You saw passes to the running backs like Eckler. You saw quick passes to Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. They were able to get the ball out of Herbert's hands quick. And that's pretty much how they were able to win this game. They negated our pass rush. And when you're getting the ball out quick, right, you got to have great linebacker play. You didn't have that. You got to have a defense that's quick to the ball, that's quick to get tackles. We were not able to do that. So there were a lot of deficiencies in our game, and we need to improve on this come Thursday. Thursday is right around the corner. Obviously, the biggest news is losing Ryan Fitzpatrick because that was a starter. He reads the field and he sees the field, but having a guy like Taylor Heineke, he gets to improvise. He gets to use his legs, and that adds another dynamic to the offense. So you have the veteran experience versus the improvisation of Taylor Heineke, and it reminds me of a level of a Doug Flutie. It reminds me of a Doug Flutie type guy who can make plays with his legs and do some pretty good things. So I'm excited for that game. We're going to see how that pans out, but let's go ahead and dive into what the Chargers did this game. I'm going to go through their box score, and box scores don't tell you everything, but at least it paints a picture. It paints a picture, which is always good. Justin Herbert had 337 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was sacked 2 times and he fumbled 1 time. And he also threw an interception. So getting 2 takeaways from the Chargers, that's magnificent. You got to give the defense credit on that. Sacking this guy 2 times, you got to give the team credit for that. But like I said, there's different things that we could have done better. You look at the run game. These guys ran the ball 29 times and had 90 yards rushing, right? Got to give the defense credit. Austin Eckler, he was limited, but I think the team did a really, really good job at negating what he can do. Also, he had 1 touchdown. Now, on the offensive side, Rashawn Slater held his own versus Chase Young. I felt that there was times when Chase Young could have had maybe a sack or 2 or maybe a hit on the quarterback, and he slipped. Chase Young was slipping all over the field yesterday. And a lot of that, you got to give credit to Rashawn Slater because he's a really, really, really strong guy. So, he really was able to hold his own. So you got to give him credit there. So kudos to Rashawn Slater for holding his own and doing his thing. So you got to give him credit where our credit is due. Now, Larry Roundtree was a pleasant surprise. He came in and gave them some pretty good snaps. 8 carries for 27 yards. You might say that's not a lot. That's not a lot. But he was able to do some nice things for these guys. Now, back to the passing game. Keenan Allen, 9 receptions for 100 yards. That can't happen. Mike Williams, 8 receptions for 82 yards. We're supposed to have a much improved secondary, right? William Jackson III is supposed to be a lockdown corner, right? Who was he guarding? Was he locking down Mike Williams or was he locking down Keenan Allen? Somebody please tell me. That's why we brought in William Jackson III, to be a guy that's going to come in and give you some lockdown magic, so to speak. But that didn't happen for neither one of those guys. Herbert was able to shred us. I mean, we couldn't get pressure on him. We couldn't, really get in his face and get him rattled. That offensive line held up. That offensive line, they just had a great game plan for the Washington football team. Jared Cook, 5 receptions for 56 yards. We know that he's a pass-catching specialist, but still, this is Jared Cook. He's 99 years old. How does he get 5 receptions for 56 yards? I mean, who was covering him? What were the linebackers doing? Maybe less of Boston, more of Khalid Hudson. I don't know. We need help. We need help covering the tight ends. There was a time or 2 that I saw Cam Curl on the tight end, and he did well. Maybe you just need Cam Curl on the tight end 24/7. I don't know. We just need all the help that we can get. And obviously, we played a lot of 2 linebacker sets to 3 safety sets. So I really don't know. We just got to see what we look like versus the Giants before I can make my assessment on this linebacking core. Jalen Guyton, he had 3 receptions for 49 yards. I mean, he had a 22. So here are the longs for these pass catchers. Keenan Allen, 17-yard pass. That was his long. Mike Williams, 20-yard reception. Jared Cook, 23-yard reception. Guyton, 22-yard reception. KJ Hill, 19-yard reception. Josh Palmer, 17-yard reception. Those were a lot of gaping passes, 17 yards or more. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times they caught at least a pass of 17 yards or more. And these are just what I just see from just reading the box score. When I go back and rewatch the game, I'm probably going to see more than that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, every one of their pass catchers averaged minimum 10 yards per reception, like the main guys, I mean, they just shredded us. They shredded us. We had no answers for them. Keenan Allen did fumble, but he recovered it back. I mean, he just pretty much lost the ball out of his hands. Kenneth Murray Jr. had led the Chargers with 10 tackles. Derwin James was all over the field. He had 7 tackles. Asante Samuel had 5 tackles. I would say the Chargers pass defense is stronger than the Chargers run defense. We were able to run the ball on them. But secondary-wise, they have a good secondary with Derwin James and Asante Samuel Jr. and also Chris Harris Jr. So all the juniors, Derwin James Jr., Asante Samuel Jr., Chris Harris Jr., and even Kenneth Murray Jr. He's out there, also helping out in that passing game. So all the juniors, they just have a good pass defense, but they struggle against the run. And that's understandable. So with all things being said, some of the positives to take away is that Joey Bosa had a 1 sack. They weren't really able to get to our quarterbacks, but at the same time, it was just a underwhelming game for the Washington football team. Third downs, we couldn't get off the field, and Justin Herbert was able to convert on a lot of third downs, a lot of third and longs. Third and longs, they killed us. I felt that the passing game needed a boost. Let's look at the target share for the Washington football team in terms of receiving the ball. Terry led the team. Antonio Gibson led the team in targets with 5 targets. And that's something that I want to see more from Gibson, which is getting involved in the passing game. It seems like that number is going to go up more and more and more. J.D. McKissick had 1 target. In a game where you figure you're losing Curtis Samuel, you would have had more out of your guy, but he wasn't able to pretty much get on the field. I don't even know how many snaps McKissick was able to have. Dayami Brown had 4 targets for 1 reception and -2 yards. He wasn't used efficiently or effectively. And I believe that a lot of those Dayami Brown targets have gone to Terry McLaurin. I'd rather have Terry McLaurin with 8 targets. 8 targets with what he was able to do. So if he had 4 targets, 4 catches, and 62 yards, 8 targets probably means 100 yards. It probably means 7 receptions. Maybe if Terry has 100 yards, maybe we have a better chance of scoring. I'm just saying. Maybe if Logan Thomas has more than 3 targets, we have a better chance of scoring. It seemed like we did a lot of checkdowns. Tim Sims didn't have that 1 catch for 17 yards. I wanted more of that. Why couldn't we get more of that? So I believe that Scott Turner is definitely going to dial up his playbook come next week. Usually I've done the game story every single pod last year for watching the football team, and this year is no different. We're going to do the game story. So game story time. So first possession of the game, the Chargers get the ball. Justin Herbert, short pass to Guyton, 10 yards. Next play, short pass. Next play, short pass to Jared Cook, 6 yards. First down. 2nd and 4. Eckler runs for 11 yards. First down. They're to Washington 48 now. Justin Herbert, short pass to Mike Williams, 9 yards. Then another nice run by Larry Roundtree. Remember, I was telling you guys, Larry Roundtree had a decent game, 13 yards on that play. Then another play, they throw the ball 11 yards to Mike Williams. Now they're Washington's 15. And I'm like, can we just hold on? Can we just hold these guys to a field goal? Larry Roundtree rips off another run for 3 yards. He didn't really rip, but it seemed like he was ripping off runs for 3 yards. Then now it's there at the Washington 12. It's 2nd and 7, and penalty saves the football team. Now it's 3rd and 10. No, it didn't save the football team actually. It was 1st and goal, and if you look at this play, if you watch this replay, you see that Rashawn Slater, Terry McLaurin out the way, and Austin Eckler gets a touchdown. Then they're up 7-0. Washington's first possession. Fitzpatrick incomplete. Gibson 4-yard run. Fitzpatrick short pass to Gibson. Next play to Dyami Brown incomplete. Fourth down, we punt the ball. Chargers get the ball. They go 3 and out. They punt the ball. Defense did good on that. Washington gets the ball back. And this is the first scoring possession for Washington. The highlights of this drive was Gibson ripping off a 27-yard run. He was tackled by Asante Samuel. Gibson again for -3 yards. In the next play, Ryan Fitzpatrick to Humphreys for 6 yards. Then Fitzpatrick kind of scrambles around for 2 yards. Then we couldn't really do nothing. We drove the ball from receiving that punt at the 48 of the Chargers, right? So you're thinking like, yo, these guys go 3 and out. We get the ball, good field position. We're going to go win and we're going to score a touchdown. We're going to score a touchdown. We score a field goal. We were at the Chargers' 12-yard line. Depressing right there. The next possession, these guys go 4 plays and they punt the ball. Okay? Football team gets the ball at Washington's 29. You know what I'm saying? That's 1st and 10. Gibson runs the ball for 5 yards. It's 2nd and 5 on the next play. Gibson 3 yards. 3rd and 2. Gibson runs the ball up the middle for 6 yards. End of the first quarter. Entering the second quarter is 1st down from the Washington 43. Penalty. You know what I'm saying? Fitzpatrick threw a deep pass to Dyami Brown as a penalty on Asante Samuel. We were able to, advance to the Chargers 22. At this point, I'm like, we got to score. We're in their side of the field once again. Incomplete by Fitzpatrick. You know what I'm saying? Fitzpatrick gets sacked, fumbles, we recover. Kick a field goal. It's 7-6. At this point, I'm like, you know what? We'll take the points. Dustin Hopkins is doing well so far. The next possession for the Chargers, they go 76 yards. They start from the Chargers 9 and drive all the way down to Washington's 15. Hold them to a field goal. And I'm like, up to this point, the defense has done nothing to upset me. Okay? They've done nothing to upset me outside of, on this drive, keep passing Mike Williams 18 yards, Larry Roundtree 7-yard run, Keenan Allen 17-yard reception. Larry Roundtree lost of yards by Ioannidis. Justin Herbert, 10-yard pass to Keenan Allen. And, it was a 22-yard pass to Guyton. Guyton was killing us, man. Kendall Fuller was on coverage. Good Lord have mercy. Kendall Fuller, what were you doing, bro? Penalty on Chase Young. That was, you just can't do that. You can't do that. Your leader of your team can't be getting penalties. Okay? Neutral zone infraction, 5 yards there. Washington 16. Eckler for 1 yard. Incomplete to Keenan Allen. They kicked the field goal. Thank goodness we were only able to hold them to a field goal there. Next play, Washington goes 3 and out. We punt the ball. Chargers get the ball. They started the Chargers 26 and drive all the way down to Washington's 9. These guys were moving the ball on Washington. What saved us was that they kicked a lot of field goals. The highlights of that drive for the Chargers, 6-yard reception by Mike Williams, who destroyed us, like I said earlier. Herbert passed to Mike Williams again for 11 yards. Mike Williams again for 4 yards. Guyton for 17 yards. Palmer for 17 yards. 3rd and 5, we can get off the field. 3rd and 1, we can get off the field. 3rd and 3, we can get off the field. You know what I'm saying? This guy's got 1st down. After 3rd and 1 again, we can get off the field. And 3rd and 9, incomplete. They kicked the field. We're able to come off at that point with another field goal for these guys. 13-6 at this point. Now the next drive, before the half, the team drives the ball. At this point, we've lost Fitz. Taylor Heineke is in the game, and he comes in. Heineke deep pass to Terry McLaurin. Penalty enforced. They move the ball. They moved the ball for the football team's favor. Logan Thomas, 12-yard reception. That was nice. Logan Thomas, 7-yard reception. That was nice. Taylor Heineke scrambles 3 yards. We call a timeout, kick the field goal. And Dustin Hopkins at this point is the man for the football team. The score is now 13-9 at halftime. That's amazing, to be honest. Like, I'll take that. Okay, as bad as the team played, these guys, Chargers move the ball so much, but just not score a touchdown. So for us, it was in our favor. We get the ball. This was the most exciting drive for the football team. You know what I'm saying? DeAndre Carter returns at 18 yards. He scrambles. Taylor Heineke scrambles for 5 yards. Now we're at the Washington 24. Gibson runs for 11 yards. We're now at the Washington 35. Gibson runs for 6 yards. We're now at the Washington 41. We're moving the ball, so it's a rhythm here. Terry McLaurin catches a 9-yard pass from Taylor Heineke. Now we're at the 50-yard line. Taylor Heineke, short pass to Terry McLaurin. We're now at the Chargers 46. Gibson runs. He fumbles. He fumbles it out of bounds. Thank God. Then it is now 3rd and 6. Taylor Heineke throws that crazy pass. Terry McLaurin is like falling to the side. He catches the ball like this. It was amazing. At this point, we're all hyped. I can even imagine that he caught it. I didn't even know that he caught that. So now we're at the Chargers 11-yard line, and Taylor Heineke throws a beautiful pass to Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas uses his big frame. Boom, touchdown. It's now 16-13. The Washington football team with the lead. And we play a pretty good game. At this point, Chargers have the ball. They're trying to move the ball. They move it. They get all the way down to the Washington's 15. And at this point, I'm thinking they're going to score again. They're going to score at least a field goal. And then what ends up happening is that Justin Herbert ends up getting a sack. When he gets that sack, when Montez Sweat gets that sack, he hits his arm. The ball goes forward. So he's at the 15-yard line of Washington. He hits his arm. The ball goes forward, and it fumbles out of bounds. And I couldn't believe it. We catch a break. That was an absolute lucky break for the football team right there. And I'm thinking that, okay, we have momentum. We get the ball, and we start to drive the ball. Gibson, 6 yards. Gibson, 6 yards. Gibson, 6 yards. So 6. Gibson is moving. He's churning. He's moving the ball. You know what I'm saying? Heineke incomplete. The next thing you know, Heineke deep pass to Cam Sims. We're doing some good things. Gibson, 6 yards again. Gibson, 3 yards. Gibson, 5 yards. Patterson, 6 yards. Then Taylor Heineke to Terry McLaurin for 17 yards. So we're having some success moving the ball. This is one of our better drives right here. Gibson runs the ball, face mask, the offsetting penalty. He grabbed Derwin James. Derwin James hit him with the horse collar. So at this point, end of the third quarter, it's 3rd and 5. And guess what happens? Brandon Sheriff with the false start. So that's a mistake. That's a huge mistake right there. Huge mistake, because it's 3rd and 5. A yardage that we could have converted easily. Because of the Sheriff penalties, now 3rd and 10. You know how that goes. Short pass to De'Ami Brown for -2 yards. I don't even know what kind of play that was. What were y'all thinking? Throw the ball. 3rd and 10, throw the ball. You're trying to be safe. You're trying to stay within field goal range so you can knock down a chip shot, right? We're going to knock down a chip shot. That penalty knocked us out of field goal range. It knocked us out of Dustin Hopkins' field goal range. That was a 50-yard, 51-yard field goal, and we know that Dustin Hopkins did not take 50-yard field goals. He misses the field goal, and from this point on, the game started to get away. Chargers get the ball. 5 plays later, there's an interception by William Jackson III. I'm like, let's go. I'm like beating my chest. I'm excited. I'm like, we're about to win this game. And guess what happens? The very next play, we give the ball to Antonio Gibson. This is in the 4th quarter. We give the ball to Antonio Gibson. And all he does is fumbles the ball. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I wanted to call Antonio Gibson all kinds of names. He fumbles the ball at the Washington 4. Not only do you fumble at the Washington 4. You're giving these guys a free touchdown. You're giving them an Austin Eckler easy run or whatever. They can do whatever they want to do at this point. They get the ball. 3 plays. First play, no gain to Eckler. Next play, incomplete to Parham. Next play, Mike Williams catches the ball. I forgot who was covering. I want to say it was Benjamin St-Juste on that play. But they score an easy, freebie, gifted touchdown. Washington football gets the ball back. What do? They go 8 plays, and they punt the ball. Can't even give you a play-by-play on that. I can't even do it. Get the ball, punt it away, and that was it. Chargers get the ball back with 6 minutes to go. 6 minutes, 43 seconds. Matter of fact, I will go over this drive right here. 15 plays, 72 yards. They killed the entire clock. Austin Eckler ran for 4 yards. Justin Herbert deep pass to Keenan Allen for 18 yards. Played a lot of man in Keenan Allen. And Keenan Allen said, if y'all go into man, it's bye-bye. He was right. It was bye-bye. They could not stop Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen, another big play, 17 yards. You know what I'm saying? Herbert, incomplete, thanks to Allen. Thanks to Chase Young on coverage on that one. Herbert, another short pass to KJ Hill, 7 yards. 3rd and 3. So prior, it was 3rd and 16. 3rd and 16. 3rd and 16. That was the first play where we should have got off the field. Keenan Allen gained 17 yards. Bobby McCain with the time. The next time that it was 3rd down, it was 3rd and 3. Send a pass rush. Do something. KJ Hill, 19 yards. KJ Hill. That's like their 5th wide receiver. 19 yards. Torrey McIntyre with the tackle. It's 1st down. Larry Roundtree, he's running the ball. He's doing this thing. He's running the ball. He's doing this thing. Justin Herbert, deep pass to now it's 3rd and 7. Justin Herbert, deep pass for 20 yards to Mike Williams. Benjamin St-Juste is on coverage. So it seemed like they picked on Benjamin St-Juste and they said, you're going to be our guy. You're going to be the guy that we pick on today. And they picked on St-Juste a lot. They had 0 answers for Mike Williams. I can deal with Keenan Allen going off. But Mike Williams going off cannot happen. Cannot happen Thursday night versus the Giants. Okay? You have Eckler through the middle. You have a 3rd and 4. This is the last stand. It's 1 minute, 50 seconds left. Call a timeout. And 3rd and 4. They throw 9-yard pass to Keenan Allen. That's deuces. That's game over. Justin Herbert kneels the ball 3 times in the Washington football team. So that's the game story. This is something that I've done for every single pod last year. And I'm telling you guys, it's hard to do when we lose. I honestly don't want to do these game stories when we lose, but I got to give the people what they want. A lot of you guys tell me you guys enjoy my game stories. So that's why I continue to do it. But to be honest, it was very hard to do. So the football team lose. I really don't have much to say other than we had a few little flashes, but a lot of bad moments. Looking forward to the game Thursday night. I'll be coming on the show with a few of my friends to talk Washington football pregame show on Wednesday at 9:30 Central Time, 10:30 Eastern Time. This is the Talking Sports with Manny YouTube channel. This is the Back Row Redskins show. Please subscribe, please like, and please share. And I will catch you guys on the next episode.